my kings and queens. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Black Actor Studio. I'm your host, Danny Royce. I got an amazing guest with me today. Very long-time fan, and you've seen him in Baby Boy, Smart Guy, Barbershop, One-on-One. The list goes on and on. He's the star of the sitcom Family Time and the upcoming feature film. Looking forward to it. AM Radio. Please welcome the one and only Omar Gooding. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, blessed and highly favored, brother. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Same as well. Thank you so much again for taking the time to join me here in the studio.
Cool.
I want to start off by saying congratulations on AM Radio. I want to talk a little bit about that before we get started. So how was it like booking that role, and what was the number one thing you were looking forward to for the audience to learn from this film?
Well, it's an interesting story. I received the script from a gentleman by the name of Eddie Rubin, who said that he's involved with a film that was written and directed by a brother named Ricky Burchell. So with me, with projects, it's always about the material. So First thing first, had to read the script, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I'll let you interview him and him tell you his process on where he was thinking on writing the script. But from what I was told, he actually wrote it for another actor, and their relationship didn't quite work out, which is, happens a lot in Hollywood. It's all about relationships.
Right.
And they said, we got to find somebody else that can fill this role. But man, when I read it, I just felt like it was written for me. I got the script, I would say around February. And because it wasn't a super big budget script, I mean, even though, the premise of it is a guy that works at a radio station that was fired from an FM radio station and got a job at an AM radio. And then they lose their music license, and he winds up becoming something of a talk show, right? But he has a troubled past. He deals with mental health. He deals with alcoholism, failed relationships. I don't want to give too much away about the story itself, but I think it's very entertaining. I'm also a producer in the film, so I helped in the editing and the producing of it. And when it was all said and done, and I watched the finished product after giving my notes and going back and forth on editing, I was very pleased, very excited for my fans to see this one. But the script was intense. It takes you on a journey through like mental health, and I think the biggest thing for me is that it was during 2020. There was an overwhelming feeling that was a universal worldwide feeling of people feeling like they were all alone in their struggles and what they were going through. And I also do music. I actually did a song called You Are Not Alone based on a conversation with a friend of mine I had that we were kind of swapping war stories. Everybody has ups and downs and good, no matter what financial bracket they fall in or wherever they are in the walks of life, you always have something you can complain about type of thing,
of
right?
Course.
And with last year, I think we were all commonly going through a shared misery, but we still a lot of us felt like we were all alone, like it was just happening to us. So you had like suicides and all this stuff going on where people are just feeling hopeless. And, not to mention, George Floyd and that incident happening. Yeah. We started filming, I believe, in June, and or a little earlier than that, actually. But anyway, as we were going through the process of going through the scenes and everything, I mean, like there's a lot of emotional stuff that happens in the film. But I know the biggest moment that, wait till you see it, you guys will go, that's probably what Omar was talking about. That was the day that I was watching CNN and saw the full video and everything. So I don't know if it was like cheating because I had this raw emotion,
Right.
And especially as a Black actor, as an entertainer, as a father, but overall being Black in America, it touches home so hard, but there's only so much you feel like you can do, like when I watched the Floyd incident, I felt for the people watching it that were there, that those were heroes that actually taped it. A lot of people, if I was there, I would have jumped in or I would have did this. No, you'd have been dead too. The character himself was, he's a shut-in. He works at AM radio. He lives alone. So I had my beard, my hair grown out, my hair was long and stuff, you know what I mean? So I was just like, you know, when I talked to the director, I was like, so what do you think I should do with, you know, with my hair? What are you thinking as far as look? And he's like, let me see how you look. Okay, nothing. Just show up on set. That is perfect, you know? So the preparation was easy, you know what I mean? Throughout the entire shoot and reshoots. But I'm very, very proud of the finished product. And people that are fans of my work, I think they will watch this and say, well, that we weren't expecting that, because it's definitely a different gear that I kicked into for this one.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's when actually when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, all right, come on. And it wasn't something I expected, like you said.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a moment and check out the trailer here of AM Radio.
He was an asshole. What if I would have never met him? What if I never would have said yes to the first date?
You trying to meet her?
Oh, are you talking about your virtual girlfriend?
Dead. She's dead. Love does not exist. It's all a lie.
Have a good night, Taz.
Good night, Lucy. See, I don't care that this is AM radio, because this is where my heart is. This is where I belong.
We're back, and like we start off in the studio, we always like to start off at the beginning. So, where were you born?
I was born in, I always laugh when people ask me. Well, growing up, I used to say Lakeview Terrace, California, right? I was always very well spoken. I never spoke baby talk. I never talked like that, you know, which shout out to my parents that they never talked to me Google Gaga, you know, so I was very clear diction-wise and speaking. I always said my full name, Omar Miles Gooding. Oh, I am Omar Miles Gooding, Lakeview Terrace, California, Lakeview Terrace. Like, oh, kid, you know. And I don't know, about 10 years ago, I was looking at my birth certificate and it said Pacoima Hospital. I was like, wait a minute. I thought I was born in Lakeview Terrace. They were like, oh yeah, it's kind of like borderline. So now, depending on who asks, I always chuckle. You know, if I'm like with the brothers, where you from? Oh man, I was born in Pacoima. You know, right. But if I'm with the investors, you know, oh, Lakeview Terrace, California.
That's right. You got to turn it up. Yep. Like I'm from Chicago, so I'll be like,
there you go.
You know, depending on who I'm talking to, it's Chicago. But then I'm like, oh, the suburb there.
Right. Just
no,
conversation.
Right.
How you want to be, you know, seen and whatnot. Yeah.
Exactly. So how was the family dynamics growing up? And it's interesting, you know, that you're in a film with radio in its title. And so is the brother Cuba. I'm just like, look how
that's so funny. I never thought of that. Someone said, hey, radio. All right, watch it. No, yeah, man, you know. So what was the question? You were just saying, how's everybody? Yeah, man.
Yeah, how was the family dynamic growing up? And
growing up. Yeah, man. Yeah. So here's the deal. My father was Cuba Gooding Jr. of the main ingredient fame in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm searching around like how much of this story should I do? It's also got a documentary. I'll make y'all watch that. Right, my father he's got his memoirs and we put a book together. It's a whole lot, but it's a very fascinating story. My father loved The Godfather, the movie. Like he'd watch it over and over again, and then I watched it over and over again. You know, we were real close, you know, him and I, even though he had 3 sons and a daughter. So growing up was interesting because my father was famous in the 70s. I was born in the 70s. My brother and sister are 1 year apart. I have an oldest brother, Thomas, who my father had when he was 16. Then he met my mother when he was 19, had my sister, and then 1 year later to the day, they share a birthday, had my brother Cuba Jr. And then 9 years later, here comes Omar. You know what they call, oops, I'm pregnant, time to get another job. Yeah, that's when I showed up. And my father was kind of at the height of his success as a singer in the 70s.
Right.
Now, apartheid was going on in South Africa, and he decided to go out there and, you know, perform for them, which was a big no-no. So when he came back, everything dried up for him. They stopped playing his records, the show gigs. There were a lot of artists that went over there and just wanted to kind of do their part and go back to the motherland. And when they came back, doors were closed, opportunities were drying up, so the money ran out. So my father and my mother My father was always an entertainer. He was always on the road.
Right.
So he wasn't home a lot ever, let alone when I was born. You know, he kind of went off to go try to recapture his fame and glory. My mother, my sister, and brother and I moved into my grandmother's house, grandfather's house.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed there for a few years until my grandpa said, yo, you got to go. Take these kids. We did our duty. Now you got to go out and do your thing. So we were homeless for a while, man. We lived in a car, and we landed. We went from the high desert, which is about 100 or so miles from Hollywood. And we eventually got literally to Hollywood. My brother got himself an agent. He started his career. And then when he turned 18, I'm around 9, you know, he's 18, well, obviously, 10, about 9, it's 9-year difference. He left home to pursue his dreams. So now I'm the man of the house at 9, 10 years old, right?
Wow.
And before he left, I picked up a script for him from his agent. And his agent saw me, the late Cuba Jr. And she said, hey, kid, would you like to try being an actor? And I was like, I don't know what that means, but sure, you know. And the only thing that I remember, I was watching Star Search one night. It's crazy. I'll never forget. I was watching Star Search, and they had, and it wasn't kids Star Search, it was regular Star Search, but they had a kids section. And 2 kids were sitting in a chair on the desk talking to each other, blah, 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 blah. And they looked over and they said, scene. And they walked off. And I said, what the heck was that? They were like, that was our acting category. Now, moving on to the subs, I remember thinking to myself, man, that looks real easy. So then when she asked me if I ever thought about being an actor, I was like, honestly, the thought did cross my mind because I thought how easy it looked, but you know, I'm 9, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So she's like, well, let me send you on some auditions and see what happens. All I had to do was get a headshot, resume, just state my hobbies. And, you know, I haven't been in anything, a couple of school plays and whatnot. List that and let's go. So I go out on this first audition and it's at this high-rise building and it scared me to death. Blew it. Second audition in the same day was at a house, bunch of kids running around, we're throwing the football around, real relaxed and calm. Read my lines, memorized them, audition, booked it. And that was for McGruff the Crime Dog. So first, I had 2 auditions in one day and booked 1. So for me, rest was history, you know. And then I went on to book roles, you know. I did a movie with Bill Cosby called Ghost Dad. I did one called Webster, that type of thing. And then finally, you know, through all of this, my mother was working. She worked at a place called Broadway. Then she got a job at Nordstrom's. And she was a praying mother, very spiritual. So she would always pray things into existence. She would say, goodbye, Broadway, hello, Nordstrom's. And she had a mantra and she would sing it and we would pray and praise the Lord. And if God's gonna get me out of this, and next thing you know, one thing happened. Every time she prayed for it, it would happen. I promise you. First it was Broadway. Then she said Nordstrom. Then she said, you're gonna book a regular series. I'm gonna be able to quit and be your manager. And one day I booked Wild and Crazy Kids and she said, I quit. And she became the manager. And then boom. And then everything took off. And I mean, I did Wild and Crazy Kids for 3 years. And back then, when you do 1 year or 1 season, it's 25 episodes, you know. So we did 75 episodes of that show. Then when it ended, Hanging with Mr. Cooper started up. We went over 100 episodes of that. And right when that ended, Smart Guy. Then we did 75 more episodes of that. Yeah. And then I look up, I'm 24 years old. You know what I mean? Right. It was like 9 to 24. And then I get a call from John Singleton say, hey, man, I got this script called Baby Boy. I want you to take a look.
Crazy, yo. That's crazy. Wow. I know growing up, you had an interesting nickname, right? And
which one?
What they used to call you?
Which one? There's a couple.
There's a couple. The one, doo-doo. That's the one.
That's my brother's doing. Every time I do an interview with my brother, he goes, "Yeah, we used to call him Baby Doo-doo growing up. He could fill up a diaper." I'm like, "Nigga, no."
That's something my brother would do too. I'd be like, "Oh God."
No, it's fun, man. I mean, you know, now I have 2 kids of my own, and I totally get it. I definitely passed that gene on to them. They can fill up with some diapers. Let me tell you. No, yeah, man. But it was cool, man. I mean, like, you know, I kind of glossed over everything, but in depth, it was like, you know, we would go through a lot. And we were on the road and we were homeless and shelters and living in cars and hotels. And then we got a job. And then, you know, we lost animals. And we were real big dog and animal people. We had Great Danes, big dogs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man, one died in the hotel on it. And it was sadness, but we always were able to smile and laugh. I was always the happy kid, you know. I think it wasn't until, you know, high school that things kind of got real for me when I kind of saw the different factors. I was always taught to be universal. I had white friends, Hispanic friends, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But then I saw how brothers kind of stuck together. I was always in hip hop, so I was like, boom, that's it. And then, you know, even though I went to North Hollywood High School in the Valley, suburbs, the Valley, they bust kids in from LA and inner city. And I clicked with them, but they brought the gang mentality, you know?
Yeah.
And we were, how should I put it? I don't know, it just kind of brought things real life for me. You know, I grew up in entertainment, but I didn't hang with entertainers. You know what I mean? Like I was always taught, if you go out, you got to have my back. I got your back. I'm not gonna go out and get into a fight and Leonardo DiCaprio got my back. I don't know if he can fight for real. Like I don't hang with them. I hang with brothers that I grew up with that we done fought for real and fought together and side by side, and that's just how it was. So I mean, it was an incident that happened where I got pulled over and we all got arrested because we had a bunch of guns in the car, not because we were doing drive-bys and shooting people, but we were just prepared and ready, you know. So that was my childhood / young adult.
How was the schooling for you? How was it juggling that? And
it was tough. I mean, I did. It was interesting, I should say, because you know, all you had to have is a work permit, which means you just make sure you maintain the C average. You know, so it's not like I pushed myself to make sure I had straight A's in order to be an actor. You didn't have to do that. You would get your home school and then take it on set, and you do like half the work. You get the minimum done, and then you go memorize your lines and do everything else. You know. So I would show up at school. I was there like 70% of the time, depending on what show was going on. But I worked through high, you know, all the way, like I said, till I was 24 years old consistently. And I didn't feel like I missed much. I wasn't a big fan of school. Like if I had to do it all over again, I would have paid more attention. Because a lot of things that I know knowledge-wise, I learned after school. You know what I'm talking about? Like I wish I just paid attention then. I would have to say, what are they talking about? Let me Google this. Let me look this up. Oh, that's what they mean. Like, you know what I mean? So people that are watching now, y'all think school is hard, but it's not forever. It seems like it's forever because that's all you know is your whole life. But trust me, pay attention and just kick ass now, and then you can relax and party later. There's always time for that. Just watch my brother be on a boat right now partying. Like, brother, you are 50-something. No.
You are 50-something, right?
You are 50-something. You don't put your shirt on.
Right. Hey, you're living the best life. So, so I want to talk about Smart Guy for a second. I mean, I was a huge fan of Smart Guy. What's that?
I said Smart Guy was awesome.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I had John Marshall Jones on the show last season.
Lovely.
Amazing guy. Yeah. So how was that? For 2 questions. How was that audition process for you? And the second part, I'll get to that in a second. But how was the audition process for you?
Well, to my best of my knowledge, there was no audition because Danny Kalis, like I mentioned earlier, was one of the executive producers on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I did that for 5 years, and as soon as that ended, he started a new show, and he just brought me in.
He just brought you in.
Another role for you. So I think it changed because initially they wanted to just kind of be the tough guy, and I had a couple of funny lines. But I think the dynamic of what I brought to the role made them say, "Oh no, he needs to be the best friend now." And then my part grew exponentially from there. Has that ever happened to you in another role that you played? Like it was supposed to be one thing, and then when they saw you on it, they were like, "Okay, we got to change this character." Yeah, I mean, usually with TV shows, that's usually how it goes. I started like even with Hanging with Mr. Cooper. With Hanging with Mr. Cooper, I was there for the presentation. And then after the presentation gets sold, you shoot a pilot. And then after the pilot gets picked up, then you shoot the series. I was there from the beginning. And I wasn't a regular. I was like a reoccurring on the show until the final 2 seasons. But they would keep bringing in different cast members around me and they fired one lady and then they brought in another one and then Raven Simone joins the show and then like Marquise Wilson and all these other guys keep coming in. And I watch people just come and go and they just kind of just kept, Omar kept shining. But anyway, I wasn't the lead on there. So I would know whenever I had my moment, I'd have to shine. So I had a way of taking lines and making the most out of it. Like I would have a line, a lot of people, especially when I do comedy, I'll take a line and I'll find a way to say it that'll make me stand out. And it usually turns out humorous. And they'll say, the writers will be like, man, you're so easy to write for because we'll just give you words to say and you'll make them funny. That wasn't even a joke right there. But we all started laughing. They're like, well, hold for the laugh, hold for the laugh. We got to make, because every time he says this line, you know, now as I grow older, I realize that there's you have to be a setup guy sometimes. So the series that I just finished called Family Time, I played the dad. So playing the dad, there's scenes with me and the wife. And in those scenes, I know she's not the comedic powerhouse. So I have to step it up when I'm in just scenes with her.
Right.
When I'm with the kids, same kind of thing, you know. But when I'm with like the best friend on the show, I know he's a nutbag. So I can kind of reel it in and just set him up, let him knock him out the park. You know, the guest actors on the same type of thing. So you got to know when to turn it up and turn it down.
Right, exactly, for sure.
But like with Smart Guy, it was like every time Mo opened his mouth, it was supposed to be
every time.
I knew I could just go because Jason Weaver, who's awesome, was a great one of my best friends in the world. He's so fun to work with because he knew that dynamic at a young age. He knew Mo's gonna go crazy, so all I had to do was just sit here and look good, say a couple lines, and then when it's on me to shine, I'll do mine. But for the most part, he was like the ladies' man. You know what I mean? Exactly. He didn't have to always press. Where I knew I was full speed ahead every time they came to. You say Mo, I'm boom. I had to be, you know, on 10 at all times.
Yeah, some of my favorite scenes are between you and Mr. Henderson because it's just that dynamic.
Now that dynamic was great. You see, now he was the same thing where he knew he was just the dad, not just, but he was the dad, so he wasn't trying to be all funny. He just had to just be like, "Come on, Mo, what the hell is wrong?"
Like,
you know what I mean? And just let me do me, and then he'll have his moments to shine. And then, you know, being the dad, he's doing all the sit downs and having the talks with his daughter and his other son and stuff. You know what I mean? So, so I'm growing now as I'm playing all these dad roles, and I just booked a new pilot for Disney, and I play a dad in that, and it's fun because it's kind of in the middle. When he's a little more fun-loving than the Family Time. In Family Time, I'm kind of a little more serious, and I have to kind of do what I do. And like I said, I turn up here and turn down there. But in this one, they kind of turn them loose a little bit more, which is fun. So I'm really excited for my fans to see this one as well.
Oh, that's fun. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so once Smart Guy, you know, got a little too smart and, you know, wanted more fun. And so and you know, this great, incredible show came to an end. What was one thing that you wanted Mo to experience, say if they went another season? Like what's one episode
that's a great question. I think I would love for him to have got romantically involved with somebody. Maybe bring that Yvette thing in full circle, which was kind of cool. I like how he was kind of an idiot savant. Like, you know what I mean? Like he would say some things, you'd be like, oh, this idiot. And other times he just had a hidden talent that you'd be like, I can't believe you even know that, you know? So that would have been fun. Maybe just for him to have somebody as opposed to always being like that third wheel or not always getting the girl, that type of thing. But he couldn't care less. So,
okay, that's good. And then Family Time. So as you said, like you know, you're trying to transition to these, you know, these dad roles, right? So Family Time is great. Okay, so who was like one of some of your role models for this particular setting? You know, you got like Cosby Show, you got all that stuff. Who was you kind of modeling on?
Definitely the Cosby Show, 1000%. I mean, I watched that show. I'm pretty sure I watched every single episode, like most of us. But I loved how he was able to juggle it all. You know, when you need to see the frustrated dad, like what is going on? How come? What, you know what I mean? I look for him. You know, him to have a woman that's fine, his wife. You know, Claire. Everybody loved Claire. You know what I mean? Just the way, you know what I mean? That he would handle all that. Like, oh yeah, this is mine. You know, and his comedic timing, man. He's one of the great comics of all time, man. So
sir.
I learned timing at a young age. And it was interesting because I did Hang with Mr. Cooper with Mark Curry, and Mark Curry to me was he's a god, man. His timing and the way he would deliver lines for me set it up for me. I was just like, I would read the script, and then I would watch what he would bring when we filmed it and we rehearsed it. And I'm like, that ain't in the script. Oh, he's just okay, you know. So I remember there was one scene in Hang with Mr. Cooper where I was just sitting at a desk and I was playing with the mouse, and the camera started, and it's just supposed to follow me doing a couple things, and then the next actor enters, and then we start our dialogue. But the fun thing about those sitcoms back in the day were live studio audience. Oh my God, I love a live audience. Nothing beats it. And you know, the audience when the audience is there, so the camera's on, and you see the light pop on, you're on. So I just start making, little funny faces, and I take the mouse and I think I put it on the side and start playing with it on the side of the desk, and I can hear them chuckling and laughing. So while they're laughing, I'm just keep on improvising, and the director's just like, no, keep it going, delay the entrance for a minute, you know what I mean, until they kind of slow down from their laughter, and then they cue them in. And just knowing those little things that you can do. A lot of people don't know. I don't know. Can I do this? Is it allowed? But I talk to people, give them advice about auditions, how to make things your own and stuff like that. But it all started for me with Mark Curry. He was the guy that showed me that you can think outside of the box, and it's encouraged most of the time. Let them tell you to stop.
Right, exactly. They can always be told to turn it down, but being told to turn it up is
harder to turn it up. Yeah, that's what you don't want to hear. Is that can you give us more, please? You're like, damn, the last project I did, they were kind of like, okay, it's good, but let's go over the top. Let us tell you to stop. And I was like, cool, say less. I've been trying not to, do too much, especially when I got somebody else on the scene with me. I used to, pride myself on being a scene stealer, as they would. Not upstaging, mind you, but if it's my camera's on me, watch out. That's
right. And people just know that about you. Who's one of your favorite people that you've worked with so far?
Boy, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about him already. Jason Weaver, he's one of the best wingmen ever. Whether I'm his wingman or he's mine. That 1-2 combo was so great. It was never a struggle with us. Neither one of us were hungry to shine. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is my scene or anything like ever, man. It was, and he's also a performer. You know what I mean? Right. So he knows theater. Like if I'm slipping or if I forget a line, he knows to come in with his a little faster. If it's not there, vice versa. You know what I mean? So he's definitely up there up at the top.
We need more of that of you too.
Say it again. Yeah, man. We're working on some stuff too. Y'all stay tuned. We're working on some stuff. We taped a podcast show one day because we had pitched the idea. This was like before the pandemic and everything broke down. Everything kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
And, so it still may happen. And we went in the studio and just recorded. We're like, let's just talk about Smart Guy and everything that we worked on together, because we actually worked on a few projects together. And next thing we know, we were in there talking for like 2 hours, and the footage is hilarious. I loved about Smart Guy so much. I'll watch it now. People say like, "What was your favorite episode?" And I'm like, I don't know. I have to watch it because I've done so much, man.
Right.
And like even now, I have the ability. It's like a superpower to memorize a lot of lines. Like when you guys see AM radio, just know there were no cue cards, no earpiece. There was none of that shit. That's what fascinated me so much about, just to talk about myself, my performance was everything that I needed to do emotionally was there, and the lines. And there was a lot of lines. The guy just rambles and goes off on tangents and then breaks down stuff. And then I was just like, and then the tear fell. I was like, well, I don't even know how that happened. Cut. We'll do it again. I was like, let's see, But but with Smart Guy, I mean, with me and Jason, we that's another thing too. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place now too. You got reminiscing and taking it back. We also worked on a movie called Freedom Song together, which filmed out in where was that? Wilmington, North Carolina, right? Funny story about that. I auditioned for that, didn't get it. They hired another actor, won't throw him in the bus, under the bus. This actor gets into a fight, a brawl, gets knocked out, shows up to work the next day. The people he got into the fight with drive by the set and make a hand gesture like they're going to shoot him. He leaves the scene, flees I almost said country. He flies all the way home back to LA. And they were like, I guess we need to find somebody else.
Oh, wow.
I wind up taking over the role, film the whole movie, right? Little do I know, quite a few years later, John Singleton is watching that movie, bro. That's the movie he watches. And he told me that's the scene. He saw one of the scenes in that movie and said, he thinks I can pull off Sweet Pea. in Baby Boy. How about
Baby
that?
Boy.
How does God work? You feel me?
All
This
right.
guy gets into a fight, and then, you know, people are like, oh, who'd you pay to go beat him up? Shut up. That's not what happened. He fled on his own accord, and God had a plan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, he did. God's plan, man.
Amen.
No one can mess up. That's
Gotta be ready. Gotta stay ready. That's all I know.
Exactly. You gotta do your part, right?
Hey.
So would you say AM radio, that was your most, I guess, difficult character to step into?
That's a tough answer. They got some good questions, man. I dig this. It's a tough answer because, all right, I like to go off on tangents, so just reel me in if I go too far here.
Okay.
Baby Boy. I had to lose weight. Now, at the age of 24, not that big a deal. I lost 30 pounds in like 2 months. It was nothing. It was like, stop drinking soda and do some push-ups. And I was just, ripped up. You know what I mean? Right. And, but there was that aspect of it when it did get tough, when they, they hired a trainer, and I really got in a real fighting shape. I changed the composition of my whole body. It was insane. I think I weighed like 260. And when I actually started filming, I was 198. So I lost 30 on my own, and then got a trainer, and then he ripped me up some more. So there's that difficult level, right? There's the discipline and getting to look the right way.
Right.
Then there's the memorization, and then there's nailing the role. Now, the role itself, I brought a lot of raw energy. I remember the audition, I was tearing up stuff, flipping, right? John was like, all right, that was cool and all. You booked the part, but now we got to learn to internalize all that and bring it in. We had a couple real G's on set. You know what I mean? Shout out to Big Cap in the 60s script. He was like, look, man, a guy, you looked the part, but all that yelling and hollering, that's not how it's done. That's ain't no real brothers doing that you really fear, the yelling and screaming and all that. So you got to learn that in, right? And but once I locked in, the hardest part was like the losing the weight, getting in shape. And once I locked in, I got the kind of the eye of the tiger to look. When I had it down, then it was easy.
Right.
It wasn't difficult once I locked in, right? Then it was like I couldn't wait to do a scene.
Mm-hmm.
AM radio, I'd already had the look because we had been through with the pandemic and not shaving and all that and letting the hair grow.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like I had to prep that way. We had all these real life scenarios going on in the world and all this raw emotion that was built up in me. And then there were the amount of lines, and let me not get it twisted. It was a lot of lines. I mean, the script is, about 100 pages, and it's all me. I'm at least 80 of those pages talking, like, you know what I mean? So Every time I saw voiceover, which was very few, I was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to memorize that. Right. But I had to like compartmentalize it. Really, just like every day, I remember I just had my sides that I would learn them the night before and go over them. That's it. I'm not reading the whole script and getting ready, getting there. No, I'm going to focus on what I'm doing the next day. So don't change the schedule on me, right? So the lines were difficult. The look was there. The emotion came out. I just wasn't sure if it was going to come out. Like I told him, before we shoot this scene, make sure everything is straight. Because people don't understand what it's like to film stuff. There are so many moving parts. I mean, you got the camera. All right, camera's there, good. You got the sound man. Is the sound, the mic, is the mic clipped all right? Is the boom set up the right way? Is there somebody going by? Will a train pass? Will something happen? Will a helicopter fly over? There's lighting. Is the light the right way? A light could fall, this and that. But makeup, does makeup look right? Is this touched up here? Bam, bam. Wardrobe, is the lapel this way? Is the shirt unbuttoned? But hair, is the hair, like there's so many things that have to be perfect just to do one take.
Right.
And you could be halfway through giving a performance of your life and the sound go out, or a light pop, or something happen, and you just be like, sorry, man, we need it again. You got another one in you? Be like, shit, So I remember before we did one scene, I said, all right, man, make sure everything is ready because I'm not sure what's gonna happen when you say that. And I gotta memorize all this shit, So I'd go into my room and I'd get ready and I was like, I got it, I'm in character, boom, let's go, action. And God took hold, man. It was just like smooth sailing. So to my long-winded way of answering was the most difficult. No, like I in a way, like it's just so hard to answer that, because then it's like, so man, we got 100 pages. You can do that tomorrow? Like, hell no, that's gonna be hard as hell. It's gonna be real trying. But I have to tip my hat to Bentley Kyle Evans, who is the executive producer. He did Jamie Foxx, he did Martin, he did Family Time, and now
Right.
it's Jamie's new show on Netflix. So we had a very, very hectic, I always call it Tyler Perry, even though I've never worked for Tyler. Shout out, man. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, here's my plug.
That's it. Shout
Everybody
out
you
to
work with,
you.
you got that question in there. Tyler, man, hook me up, man. Let's holler.
Mr. Perry, let's go.
But now I'm ready because I always hear horror stories of Tyler Perry's work schedule. They were like, oh man, these brothers, you can do like 50 pages in one day, man. It's tough. You got, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Then I met Bentley. And I remember it was season 1. No, I think it was probably season 2. And we were in the groove and everything. And it was a lot of lines. And, I'm like number 1 on the call sheet. Let's talk about that. Which means, I like throughout an episode, it's me and the wife, me and the kids, me at work, me and them, but it's me. Right. Yeah. So I had everything loaded up, had a scene ready to go. And they said, oh, wait a minute, the actor's not ready. Let's do this other scene. Here, hand me the pages. I looked at it and I was pissed. Well, I remember going outside, went outside the studio, sat on the curb, was mad as shit. And was like, fuck it, let me try to memorize it. Went through it, memorized it, and I didn't know, let's just go. I go in, I said, you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. Let's just go. And I was mad because I knew I was going to mess up. And I hate messing up. So I'm in there and I'm doing it. And when you're doing a scene that has a lot of lines, it's easier to do if there's blocking involved.
Right.
I had to go over here and I pick up this cup, and you pick up the cup. You remember to say you have to pick up the cup because you're grabbing the cup. You know what I mean? There's little things you're doing that help you run. This scene, I was holding a remote control and staring at the TV while Lisa's walking around and talking to me. And I'd never look at her. I'd never do anything but hold the thing. So I was like, this is going to be a bitch. But I nailed it. I hit it first take, got all the way through. And when it was done, I went, damn. Now, no one else knows. They're not all, oh, wow, great job. They don't know. They don't give a shit.
Right.
They got their own job they're doing. But I said to myself, well, you a bad motherfucker. Like, I can't believe that I memorized all that so quickly. And then it just hit me. It was like, we've been doing this for 2 seasons, and I've been just learning lines so much on the fly and knowing that I had to, I'm the man, this is my show, and I could be able to have this dynamic and that dynamic, and everything's got to be right. Like I said, hair, makeup, this and that, well, you know what I mean? You got to do all your jobs when you get, where I'm at. And to have hit it, I just said, damn, Bentley is a bad motherfucker. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but it's like doing push-ups and your muscles just get stronger. My muscle memory, it's insane, bro. So yeah, I mean, if I wasn't as good as I am now with memorization, then this probably would have been my toughest role for sure. But I was able to eat them up, and a lot of things are timing with roles with me. Like Baby Boy, I could never do what I did in that movie again, other than that specific time.
Right, exactly.
Everything about it, personal experiences that I had out in the streets with my boys and getting into situations and whatnot. And I was able to vent and kind of release through that film. This movie here, AM Radio, with the timing and the pandemic and the despair and the hopelessness that everybody was feeling. And I had to play this alcoholic recluse shut in with mental health issues, you know what I mean? And make you laugh every couple of scenes. Like, you know what I mean? It could only have been done in 2020. So.
Right. And we're right around mental awareness month. So it's like,
Say it again, brother.
Mental awareness month, we're right.
Yeah, man. It's perfect timing. Perfect timing,
right?
Yeah.
So before we get into our short little game segment of fast questions, I just want to ask you, what are some of the personal demons or challenges that you faced in this journey? Because like you said, you've been working nonstop from 9 to 24, and still going. So I mean, obviously there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things like that. What's some of the stuff that you had to go through?
Women.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women in my life that mean a lot to me. That through this journey, first and foremost, my mother. Second, my second mother, which was my oldest sister, who raised me. When my mother was busy, it was her, my first love to my last love, and them dealing with the type of man that I was and am. And, even my wife now, or my only wife I've ever had, I've known her for, we're going on 15, 16 years, depending on when this airs. And it was a journey, you know, as we met, we didn't just fall in love and then stay together. We fell out, fell back in, this and that. They had different other people, boom, 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 boom. And then we, you know, locked in, moved in together and said, okay, let's do this. Once we did it, and then, you know, I proposed, then she got pregnant, and then, you know what I mean? Everything fell in place. There's joys. I like to talk about the joys and the smiles, but there were my only real issues were in my personal life. Like I'm a Libra. I don't know what people that are into that and what that means and all that. But like, if I'm upset, I need to balance out quick.
Right.
I don't get upset and then stay in it and brood and all that. No. You know what I mean? And it seems like you get too happy, here comes the devil to knock your ass back this way. So there's always that, you know, spiritual battle, faith. Like I said, my mother used to pray things into existence, still does to this day. She's still on my management team. She's my personal manager. And I come to her and confide in her for counsel, you know, because she's been around and she's very wise and she's also spiritual and she's spiritual fed and she's a prayer warrior. So if, you know, God and I have a very good relationship to where I know, you know, I can be better. You know, I definitely could be better. I'd love to have the time and the, you know, not have the excuses to go to church more and all that, in the sense of being more present for him. I know, and you know, you don't have to be in church to pray.
Exactly.
You don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. You know what I mean? So we have our relationship, and it helps me maintain this up here. You know,
that's good.
So the journey, you know, I did the gift, the greatest gift God has is this youthfulness. I don't know how it happened. I mean, my father passed, he was 73, and you couldn't tell him that, you know. And that's half of the reason for his demise. He just kept going so much, and he was always chasing that next thing, and it was like exhaustion really caught up to him, you know, and I keep that in mind, so I know when to shut it off, when to step on the gas, when to say, I need a moment. A lot of people don't understand that moment is very, very important for yourself. You're on set, when you're in work, you need that moment, you need that break. And people say, oh, I know it's your break, but do you mind? Yes, I mind. You know, I'm not an asshole when it comes, especially when it comes to fans. You want a picture, come here. If you see me out, I'm out. If I didn't want to be bothered, I should have stayed home. You understand me? Like, I love people acknowledging me and appreciating what I do, and especially if I touch them in a positive way. If it's a negative way, you keep that to yourself. But the positive, I love hearing that. You know, the internet and the social media, I love engaging with people, good and bad. I ain't gonna lie. I get a little petty sometimes. What'd you say? Delete, block. But you got to know when to take your moments. You know, people are like, I know you're eating right now, but is it okay if I was like, no, I'm gonna finish chewing first. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? Rather than just do it, even though I'm hungry and I'm getting grouchy and then this and that. You know what I mean? So yes, I love to engage with them, but you also got to know when to take that time for yourself, and it'll help for your overall mental health, man. And you know, I think that's what drives a lot of people over the edge, when you do for others and you don't get that reciprocation. You don't feel that back. Those are the demons that I battle with. So kind of answering that question, like, damn, I do this, I did that, y'all don't even appreciate that. And then, you know, I do one little thing and it's like, oh, you tripping? Like, I'm tripping? You know? So, you know, I learned to release too. You know, I learned to be an asshole when you have to. Because you got to let that out. You can't let that build up and eat you up. A lot of people say, well, I got to hold it in and I'll just go scream into a pillow or whatever. Nah, sometimes you got to let that, release that right away. You know, I've had a bad, like a lot of times, one of my flaws is things will happen right away. And in the moment, I'll just go with it and let it happen. And then right after, I'll go, why did I let that happen? I should have acted like this. I wish I had it over again. I would have did this. I would have did that. Blah, 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 blah. So what I'm trying to do is learn to react in the moment more. You know what I mean? You ask me a question, take a minute, answer it the right way. Don't just say something and then you hang up and be like, damn it, I should have said this. Nah. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to slow down if I need to slow down. Don't feel I'm in a rush. Don't, you know. And take your time, man. Enjoy life because you only get one.
We're gonna go to our finish up the interview with our fast questions, okay?
Let's do it. Make sure
in this segment, you say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Oh wow! Oh wait, okay. Let me take one more sip of this cold, ice cold water.
Yeah, I'm like, go ahead, get your hydration. All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite word?
Damn.
What's your least favorite word?
No.
Okay. Anyone in the world you would like to trade places with? Lives. Who would it be?
Lives? God, that's the worst question ever. Lives? I'm trying to think fast here. Oh, that's a mean one. Yeah, can I pass? That's tough, man. I mean, it's just a hard way to answer that because the first thing I think of is if it was me. All right, I'm gonna say it. I don't like it. I'm gonna say it. This is one of those where you should have thought about it more. But you asked me quick. Probably my brother. And the reason why is because he's the older brother. I'm the younger brother. And I think by no fault of his own, I would go, man, if I was the older brother, I'd do it like this. You know what I'm saying? But it's easy to say as the younger brother. And now raising two kids, I see the stuff that's kind of unfair to a human. Whereas my child, my firstborn, my namesake, Omar Jr., you know, we teach him certain things, and he's a big guy like me. He's bigger than all the kids his age. So we always tell him, be gentle, don't hit, don't do this, don't do that. And I had another son, but he's a man child. He's more savage than him. He's just, rah. And we're constantly telling the oldest, Omar, no, don't do that. No, let it go. And he's like, but he keeps doing this. And we go, but he's just a baby. You have to do this, you have to do that. That's messed up. So like as an older brother to a younger brother, that's a tough dynamic there. Sometimes there's a lot of strife. People always ask, is there a problem with you and your brother? No, I adore my big brother. That's my big bro. Growing up, we would get into real life shit people don't know about. I would get jumped and run home, and he'd come out and chase all the niggas. We got into some things people will never know. There was a giant man. I'd be looking for a way to jump in front of a bullet for him, you know. But when I say I would do, that's only when you said that, he's the first person that popped in my mind. Not because I think I could do anything that he's done better. Not at all.
Of course.
But just because you asked me. And that's the only person I think about when I'll be like, if we could switch places and I was a big brother and he was a little brother, I think I would be more this and that. But that's not true because I would be the big brother. It's not true. I would be the big brher and I would do the same shit he did. So.
Right. Yeah. I'm the youngest of four, so I feel you on that.
Amen.
All right. A sound or noise that you love?
A sound or a noise that I love? My kids sleeping. Oh. Oh, when I see the mouth open and look, oh my God, I can rest myself.
That's hilarious. A sound or noise that you hate?
Waking up, crying, baby crying. I mean, me and wifey be on the, you know what I mean? We on the couch. Our favorite movie, y'all got the sound monitor on, and you're that little cough first.
Yeah.
Like, come on, go back to sleep. You're like, oh, here it comes. You do rock, paper, scissors. No, you going back. It's your turn. I went last time.
Right. I can only imagine. That's funny. What's something that turns you on?
In what way? Just excites me, you mean?
Yeah, get you going.
Like, all right. I'm a gamer, so chess, dominoes, anything that I can use my mind and think I can outwit somebody. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what does it for me.
That's something that turns you off.
What turns me off, man? I'm a happy-go-lucky dude, but what just makes me go, oh, hell no. Whoo, in-laws. No. No, her family's good. Her family's good. There's one, though. Gee, is they coming over? I'll be outside.
The rap part. You're a mess.
That's my answer.
That's your answer?
I said what I said. Hope they watch it. They'll be like, he's talking about me. You. Come over again. The door will be locked. Be quiet.
It'd be like that. All right, what's your favorite cuss word?
My favorite cuss word, probably the N word, because I use it in so many different ways, and I'm a lyricist, so sometimes ain't no word that can replace it. And I know it pisses people off, and it's a long discussion about it. Sometimes good, but that's it, man, because it just yeah, he's like nigga, like yeah, just come on now. So many ways, and it's like a code word at the same time, man.
Right? Yeah, I feel that.
Keep it in 100.
What profession other than your own would you participate in?
What profession?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do music already, but if because I am an actor,
Other than entertainment.
Oh, other than entertainment, that makes it fun. Sports. I would be yeah, man. I tried out for the football team first day of high school, and the coach was like, check this one out. This is all about dedication. It's all about being here every single day. It's the first day of high school. Practice starts today. Tryouts start today. And all right, go grab a, get a ball, throw it around, get loose. We about to get started. And I walked over to coach. I said, check this out, man. I got a film today. And I got this series that I do. I'll be here most of the time. I'm good and get the hell out of my face. I never got to play. Man, I was so upset about that. And then, God is good. I wound up starring in a series called Playmakers for ESPN. And I got it all out of my system in that one season. I blew both my hamstrings out running the 40. They made us run the 40 in the opening scene over and over and over again. We filmed this out in Toronto with the CFL athletes out there and them in the Canadian Football League. And they were like, bruh, we don't have to run as much as y'all ran. They killing y'all. And it was like, I'm laughing with it. And you got one more take in you? I was like, why not? Ran the last time, boom, I felt both hamstrings pop. I learned the beauty of Epsom salt, ice baths, all that shit, man. I got it all out. By the time I came home, I was like, well, I got that fantasy out the way. But yeah, definitely sports.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a great thing as actors. We get to play everything,
That is true, man. I can't be mad at
any type of shoes, whatever.
Right.
So what profession would you absolutely not be a part of?
Damn. How do I do that? That's another mean question. Everybody looking like, oh, word? Oh, so that's what you wouldn't do? I don't know, man. I don't want to try to be funny. What would I not do? I mean, if it's your calling, that's just a hard one because for me, it's not my calling, but like a police officer. But even though they're going through everything they're going through, there's good and bad. I have a few police officer friends that have helped me. They've actually, if it was a black man, you'd be like, when's the last time you called the police and they've helped you? Like, right. I did, because I needed to follow me to the freeway and make sure I get there, right? That's just, that as a youngster. But yeah, man, I mean, it's tough. Like a doctor or something like this, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it, but it is a calling. That to save lives, man, is just amazing. What would you not do? I wouldn't be a garbage man. That's fucked up. Somebody's got to do it. What I mean? Don't shit on all the garbage, man. I'm happy they come and do their job. Because I couldn't do it.
Like, it wouldn't be me, though. But last but not least, okay? Heaven exists. You get up to God. What would you like to hear him say to you?
Well done. Well done.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You so many choices in life, so many lefts and rights that you can make. I just hope I made the rights when I was supposed to make the rights and the lefts, because I know I've missed a few turns. Definitely missed a few turns.
Oh yeah, man. We all have.
If he can say well done, good job, I go over there, man. You earned it. That's that. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. And well done indeed. Thank you so much for having me. Interview you. Thanks for being here in the studio. It's been amazing. This is just one short moment to just go ahead and address the audience, leave them with something inspiring and motivating, and then we'll get out of here.
I appreciate you. Well, first of all, my name is Omar. Omar Gooding. Omar Miles Gooding. Yes, OMG on mine. And you can follow me on at Omar Gooding on Instagram. I'm very open to giving advice. A lot of people, they want to, the game is to be sold, not told. I don't believe that. DM me, I don't care. I'll talk about it. I'll give you advice on this. Not as difficult as you think. but just never think that you are alone in your struggles, period. I don't care what it is you're going through. I don't care who you are. This is not just for poor people or inexperienced people or non-entertainers. I'm talking about my peers. I'm talking about people that have been in the business alongside me, have been in the audition room and didn't get it. Hey man, I've people have been with it that are now leads in shows. And y'all know who you are, actors and actresses. Y'all, everybody gets their turn. Everybody gets their shot, but it's up to you to make the most of it. So I'm going to continue to do the same, and y'all do that as well. And y'all stay blessed and keep smiling.
Keep smiling. Yes, sir. Thank you so much again, Omar. It's been great talking to you. And folks, you can find me everywhere at I Am Danny Royce. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week for a new episode of Inside the Black Actor Studio. Take care, y'all.